winter guides for trainer Mary Tate.
Very good. Yeah, Alpine Sermon. I'm going to go General Jimbo on the outside. Alex Cruz is up for George Rosales. Couple good races, good speed down at Will Rogers Down. The last two haven't been great, but at this level here, 5,000 claiming with his speed, I look for him to run well there. Fourth race is the Dory Monson Purse at 5.5 furlongs. And 4-year-olds and up in here. In fact, 4 4-year-olds and all have some decent sprint history among them.
I went to the inside with West Coast Bull. This horse has the speed, has the rail, has a solid workout, effective front running style. I think will fit the distance. And Carlo Lopez here for trainer Stephen Bullock.
Okay, West Coast Bull. I'm going to take Going South, the morning line favorite, who did run second to See That Tiger in the Auburn Stakes last year. Really excellent win place percentage for a speedy sprinter from the Blaine Wright barn. We'll do the Preakness on the big screen and monitors after race number 4. 14 runners in there again, 3 out of the Kentucky Derby, number 2, Oselli, number 4, Robusta, and number 12, Incredibolt. Got a lean here, Tom?
Yeah, I'm going to give the edge to Incredibolt. I just think the race comes together a little bit better than the Derby. Of course, you know, the madness of the Derby at the stretch started for Obe, and they were all charging. It looked like a stampede. But I'm going to give the edge to Incredibolt. You know, interesting note in the Preakness, you know, Bob Baffert's won this thing 8 times. And he holds the record. He holds the record for winning the most Preakness Stakes, and Dwayne Lucas with 7 wins, and a guy by the name of Robert Walden way back 100 years ago also had 7 wins of the Preakness. So a little fun stuff. You know, anybody could Google this, you know, but I like to look at that kind of stuff.
Well, I like Incredibolt as well for a top selection. His Derby really wasn't that bad. Of course, some traffic. He was running on at the end. He's won at in New York. He's won in Virginia stakes races. 3 for 6 lifetime. We like the 12 there. Incredibolt, one of the favorites in early wagering. The 5th at Emerald, older horses, 5.5, scratch number 2, upright. I'm thinking Cane Creek Road from that inside post at 5.5 furlongs, up from Phoenix, going turf to dirt for Jennifer Nunnally. I think his speed is going to be pretty significant in here. He's had an excellent overall career and going well this year.
Yeah, he certainly has a big advantage from that inside post position. If he can get away alertly, definitely going to be a tough one to catch up to. I do have that one in my selections. I gave the edge to Real Good Magic, though, with Carlo Lopez. This horse also has pretty good speed at this range, and Kendra Lyons, the coach here. So I think it comes down to those two and who can hang on.
Yeah, Kendra Lyons has some live runners in this weekend for sure, and certainly Real Good Magic there in the 5th is one of those. The 6th race, the Muckleshoot Casino Purse at 5.5. Older horses, good field in here. I'm going to give Candy Caballo the edge. Boy, he saw the rear end of See That Tiger several times last year, but See That Tiger had a tremendous 3-year-old season, was sprinter of the meeting, and Candy Caballo, he hung in there when he was topped. I think he's a talented sprinter, and he can fit in this 4 and up race.
I agree with you, Joe. Okay. I think that's the horse to beat. This one looks to have the class advantage. Stakes place for trainer Tom Wenzel. Carlos Montalvo will sport the colors for George Tadaro today.
Yeah, good field. Elder Mack won a fast sprint last year for Blaine Wright. Adios Jojo, already a winner at the meet for Howard Gibson. Whiskey Jack and Whiskey Harbor for Ryland Harwood. Let's name them all. Veritas, Equitas. He might get a really fast pace to run into, and Tax Code off the bench for Blaine Wright. There, I named them all. 7th race, it's a maiden special weight for fillies and mares. We do have 3 first-time starters. They're all on the outside, 7, 8, 9. Scratch the 4.
I went to the inside here with Malibu Lady. Okay. Draws the rail. This horse looked pretty good up at Hastings last year. Checks in with razor-sharp workouts for trainer Patricia Leaney. Alex Cruz has the call.
Yeah, that was a good race late in her 2-year-old season. I'm going to take Native Empress, a second-time starter who had a little bit of a rough trip in her career debut. That was July last year here at Emerald Downs. She's the younger sister of Princess Hakawi, who we know certainly likes Emerald Downs. It's a Tim McCanna trainee as well, Kevin Krieger. Okay, there's a quick look at our 7-race card. It's a $1 day. Take advantage of those dollar prices at concession stands and enjoy a nice afternoon here at the track. Coming up on race number 1 at Emerald Downs, sunshine out there. Yeah, a little bit of a varied forecast for this Saturday, day number 4. Joe Withy along with John Lindley of Parker's. John, right now it's all sunny and a fast track.
Yeah, we looked like this morning it might rain, but we got a little bit of sun as you mentioned, and I think everything from here on out we start getting better and better as the week goes on. And the horses will like the cool weather. The rest of us may not, but they're going to do okay in it. And we got some competitive races today and some horses that we've seen many years over and over that are coming back for their first starts.
Yeah, so a 7-race card today. After race 4, we'll have the Preakness on the big screen in the infield and various monitors throughout the building. So that's a very good betting race. We'll touch on that, John and I. 14 horses in there. I didn't see any scratches in the Preakness.
Nope, no scratches as of right now.
Yeah, so a 14-horse field for the second jewel and Triple Crown. And we're going to have an 8-race card tomorrow starting at 1:50, and the Bulldog races as well, a couple of heats, and then the championships after race number 6 on Sunday. Always fun for the family. A little bit extra to the Sunday race card. So let's take a look at the horses for race number 1. This is a maiden sprint for 3-year-old fillies. One first-time starter, number 3, Blue Locket from Alan Bozell. Number 1 there is Run on Ohm. And she did run at Emerald Downs 2 weeks ago on opening day. And Alluring Valentine was a big winner of that maiden race. But Run on Ohm kept to her task for second.
Yeah, she shipped in off some kind of mediocre form at best. She ran okay her very first race on the Santa Anita turf course against maiden special weight, and then just kind of was flat a couple races. But as you mentioned, she shipped up here and she pressed the winner, Alluring Valentine, for about half a mile there, and got a little tired at the end, but held on for a clear second. And as we'll talk about, none of the other horses that have raced show any early speed at all. The fact that she showed early speed last time is a big positive for her. If she's able to break cleanly from the rail, she'll probably be the horse to catch. I'm guessing she'll be favored. We'll see. Right now the money's kind of spread out, but it's early.
Okay, in the Debbie Perry barn, who had a nice score last weekend with her first starter of the meeting. There is Run on Ohm. Silvio Amador is back aboard. So a good effort at Emerald Downs here for her. Again, all 3-year-old fillies. Number 2 is Moro Tap. And this is a Calbred who, the first foal from the dam by Uncle Mo, really didn't show too much at Turf Paradise. She raced there in mid-April, so just about a month ago, and has come up to Emerald Downs in the barn of Jim Gilmore. I'd take an extra look at second-time starters, especially with the drop in class. It says she was a little wide. You probably watched that race. You probably have more info on her than I do.
Yeah, you look at that type of race, and she kind of had a slow workout pattern going into the race. She didn't draw any money, so I would kind of lean towards what you're thinking is that it was purely an exercise in get an education. She ran it evenly there, just kind of passed a couple horses or a horse at the end. This is much easier company. She gets an extra half furlong, a lot of reasons to improve off that race because, as I mentioned, when they don't get bet at all and they don't really show too much that first race, I think the barn's like, okay, let's give them an education, and she should run a lot better today.
Okay, I'm kind of thinking that way. And Alyssa Morales did ride her down in Phoenix. Alyssa Morales up again today on Mo Sassy, 3-year-old Calbred filly. And Morales' stats when riding for Jim Gilmore are quite good. Blue Locket is the lone first-time starter in the race by Lutz Gift, the Simpkins Farm stallion. And out of Roxy Skylar, who won 6 races in her career, most of them at Emerald Downs. And Skylar May before that, the dam of Roxy Skylar. She was a multiple winner here. Alan Bozell trained line. And this Blue Locket is a younger sister of Queen Breezy, who's 7 for 23. Really an impressive claiming sprinter around here.
Yeah, and I think when you look at this race, we talked about the one showing a little speed last time, although she didn't show too much of others, and the others have yet to show any speed. So if you're looking for a first-time starter that has early speed, well, this might be the case because she's bred to have speed. As you mentioned, Roxy Schuyler won a bunch of sprint races, I believe. Nice recent gate workout. This barn has started a lot of first-time starters. They have won with one. It was back in 2019, so they're capable of first out. It was entered, I think, opening weekend in scratch, but they came right back, so it just might have been a minor cough or something there. And again, when you see that Lute's Gift, Midnight Lute, you're thinking speed, and that's kind of what this race is lacking, and we'll see if she has any.
Exactly. Lute's Gift has put speed into a number of his sons and daughters when they were young horses. There's Blue Locket. Career debut for her coming up. Smoothie Rider is the 4 by G.G. Rider, that tremendous stake horse in Northern Cal for several years. This is a George Rosales runner, another second-time starter, John.
Yeah, and in that race, I had her breaking 5 lengths slow there. It was not really a slow break; it was more of a dwell. She just didn't know what happened when the gates opened. And after that, she ran okay, very similar to Mo Sassy, a nice education. And interesting that the connections came back and gave her a nice breezing gate workout to get her ready for the start here. And she does move from the inside to a little better post at Turf Paradise to draw an outside here. So another horse that should run a lot better, especially if she breaks with the field.
Okay, and Adrian Castellanos, the rider for George Rosales. That combination has just really been strong at Emerald Downs the last half of last year and early this season. Princess Amber on the outside for David Martinez. She ran on May 2nd, opening day, in that alluring Valentine win over Run on Ohm.
Yeah, and she got bet a little bit there. I had her, and you'll see on the trip notes if you go to emeralddowns.com, losing about 3 lengths at the start and was a little sluggish in the stride. And if you look at her breeding, she is by Mo Forza. Most of those horses are going to do better, A, with experience, B, with longer distance, and of course, Mo Forza was a turf runner there. But a nice opening finish despite that slow start. She does get the outside draw here, so that should help her. Very similar to a couple others here. Clean break's going to put her right in it early, and that might be the scenario that gets her the job done.
Carlo Lopez off to a great start at the meeting. He's just got aboard for trainer David Martinez on Princess Amber as 5 3-year-old fillies go to the track for race 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we direct your attention to the winner's circle, where today we welcome a spiritually inspired singer who is a frequent visitor to Emerald Downs and has performed the national anthem numerous times here. Please welcome Latin Rose for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That's Latin Rose. Ladies and gentlemen, looking ahead to the fourth race, a late ownership note for number 2 going south. The owner should be listed as Gate to Wire LLC, the exclusive ownership. That's for number 2 going south in the fourth race.
Coming up on the first race at Emerald Downs, again we have rolling doubles, rolling pick threes, and those pick threes, the takeout is just 12%. A pick three, of course, a winner in 3 consecutive races on the same ticket. So those are popular wagers and a very good takeout. Let's head up to Tom for his selection in the first.
All right, Joe, as we get set for the opener here, I look to the first-time starter, number 3, Blue Locket, who checks in with nice workouts to the credit, especially that workout a few weeks ago on April the 25th kind of jumps right off the page. 46 and change there, away from the gate for first-time starter, Blue Locket. And when Ciceron got on the board with a victory last week, he'll have the call here from trainer Alan Bozell. So I'll use Blue Locket on top, 3, 1 and 4.
Okay, 3 on top, Blue Locket, the first-time starter in the field. John Lindley.
Yeah, same 3 horses as Tom, a little different order, but Run On showed early speed in a race where the other fillies that have raced, and of course the one that hasn't, kind of unknown whether or not they have early speed, draw on the 1 hole in 5.5. If she breaks cleanly, she'll be on the lead. We'll see if that gets her the job done.
Yep, coming back in 2 weeks after, finishing second here at Emerald Downs. Okay, 5-horse field, 3 opinions from us 3. Mo Sassy for me, number 2, dropping in class for her second career start. The first race a month ago, certainly a learning experience. Same rider for trainer Jim Gilmore, that would be Alyssa Morales. I look for Mo Sassy, number 2, to run much better in start number 2. On the track and just minutes to post for race 1.
And the horses have reached the starting gate. Post time for the first. Run on home, first one to go in. Here comes Mo Sassy. Now Blue Locket. Smoothie Rider. Gay Crew working with the first-time starter Blue Locket. Now they have a handle on Blue Locket, and in goes Smoothie Rider. Outside post to Princess Amber, and the girls all set. And runners away. Maiden fillies let go for 5.5. A quick start for Run On Home at the inside, who is hustled off the mark alertly. And Mo Sassy is right there to run with her. There's a span of 2. Back at the outside now comes Blue Locket, gathered up after a sluggish beginning. Still 2 to Smoothie Rider. 1.5 or 2 to Princess Amber at the back. Around the far turn they go, and Run On Home, a short lead here from Mo Sassy. Blue Locket straightened away and's got her mind on business now, up to challenge from the outside. Look at Blue Locket circling up now to take the lead. 1/4 mile to go. They round the turn and run for home. Run On Home at the inside, but Blue Locket from the outside. Lenny Cicheron shakes the reins at the first time filly, and she takes the lead from Run On Home, who's chasing, but in deep stretch. Blue Locket is well on her way. She's clear by 3 and drawing away. Blue Locket will make her first appearance, a winning one, clear by 3 at the line. Run On Home was second, close for show. Princess Amber the outside. Mo Sassy back to Smoothie Rider. Running time was 1:06 and 43 100ths. Unofficial order of finish on the board. First, it's number 3, Blue Locket. Second was number 1, Run On Home. Third, number 5, Princess Amber. Fourth, number 2, Mo Sassy. Results are not yet official. Running time of the race, 1:06 and 43 100ths. Results for the first race now stand official. The official winner, number 3, Blue Locket. The first race today, the Copier's Northwest Purse. In the Michelob Ultra Winners Circle, it's Blue Locket, owned by Alan Bozell and Kim Stecker, trained by Alan Bozell, Lenny Cicheron, with the winning ride. A 3-year-old Grey Roan filly by Lutz Gift from Roxy Schuyler. She was sired by Hampton Bay. Bred here in Washington by Kim Stecker. And a look at the prices for the first race. Number 3, Blue Locket, returns $18.62 to win, $5.68 to place, $3.66 to show. Number 1, Run On Home, $2.56 to place, $2.10 to show. Number 5, Princess Amber, $3.26 to show. Winning Exacta, $19.90. The 50-cent trifecta, $36.91. 10-cent super, $23.77. Coming up in the second race, a distance of 1 mile. A reminder that number 1, Burt's Prospect, has been scratched. Scratch, number 1, Burt's Prospect. Second race today is the Neutral Purse. Post time on the board, 2:25, 22 minutes until post time. Race fans, today's drink special is Black Eyed Susan, which is the official Preakness Stakes drink. Available today for $12.95. Also, our Preakness food special is crab cakes with tartar sauce for $10.95. And don't forget it's Dollar Day at the races. The following items available for just $1: hot dogs, soft drinks, chips, small popcorn, 12-ounce hot Americano, hot tea, and ice cream sandwich. Just $1 for Dollar Day.
Second race at Emerald Downs is next up, and once again we do have that jackpot pick 6 wager, 10-cent jackpot pick 6 every day, the last 6 races on the card. So races 2 through 7 today, and just 10 cents to get in. Give it a try. 10 cents gets you 1 horse per race. And can you afford $1? Well, then you can afford 10 horses or so, depending on how you string them out.
You get a lot of coverage for a small
Yeah.
amount of money, and it's a fun bet if you're alive going to the last race, and you're going to get something for sure, and then possibly the whole pool, depending on what has come in earlier.
Yep. So if nobody has just one winning ticket in this wager, the jackpot pick 6, then the bulk of the betting that day carries over. So we do have a carryover exceeding $2,000 for the jackpot pick 6 today, starting here in race number 2. There it is. 10-cent jackpot pick 6 starting right here. Second race is at a mile for older horses, and John, the 1 is out. Bert's Prospect, scratch the 1. 2, 3, and 4 are making Emerald Downs debuts in here.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've got a horse coming off a turf race, and then a couple horses coming off some dirt races at Turf Paradise. They all have raced recently, which is good. We got a little bit of form to work with, and we'll see how they do coming to Emerald Downs. It is pretty rare to have a race like this with, well, except for Haley's Honor that has run at Emerald before, but the other 3 haven't.
There's a look at Run Baba Run by Bernardini, and a one-time winner. This is not a non-winner or 2, so he's giving some winning experience to his foes in here. Comes in from Phoenix, not on the best of form. He does have some 2-turn experience, but well, it's up to Jairo Marino, the apprentice rider, to make a decision early on possibly what to do here.
Yeah, you look at this field, and there's one horse that we know is probably going to be hustled to the lead, and this horse, a long time ago, it was back at Pleasanton in 24, did show some early speed, but as you mentioned, recently has not shown too much at all, has been big odds and hasn't been able to hit the board. However, we do get a little bit of a weight break here, and we do draw an inside post, and just coming to Emerald Downs and showing a little bit of early speed and getting contention. Maybe this horse will turn around and start being competitive at the end.
Sure. Coming back in 2 weeks, raced at Turf Paradise on May 2nd, and is vanned up here. And in action at Emerald Downs, could be a slow pace, and boy, anything can happen when the pace is slow. There is Run Baba Run. Again, Jairo Marino aboard, the apprentice jockey. Number 3 is Brother Reed, son of Empire Maker, who did not win the Preakness. Funnyside beat him. Or no, he didn't run in the Preakness. He got beat by Funnyside in the Derby, then won the Belmont.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he had a bit of a foot problem going into the Derby, but he still ran because Frankel wanted to win that race, and then he said, okay, I'm waiting for the Belmont, and was able to get a little bit of revenge, but Funnyside was the one that got the Derby victory.
Yeah, Derby and Preakness for Funnyside back in 2003. So this is a George Rosales runner who has run in the money a couple of times down in Phoenix fairly recently, and each time Hot Legs Romolo won the race by a wide margin, so that foe is not against him today.
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, he's dropping to what I think is the lowest level of his career by far today. And second of all, it's interesting, he's 9 years old, he's never run on the dirt, yet he's got dirt breeding everywhere. So it'd be interesting to see how he does. I can see a lot of people looking his way. When I look at the tote board in the dynamic morning line, he's getting bet pretty good here. And I can see a lot of people looking at him going, well, he's been facing much tougher. He's bred for dirt. He goes for a barn that does pretty well with this type of horses. As you talked in the first race, the trainer-jockey combinations that got unbelievable numbers. Brother
Reed, yeah, John pointed that out, never has run on a dirt track, which is amazing for a 9-year-old and a horse with 40 career starts. So all 7 of his lifetime victories on grass. Brother Reed, though, 2 out of 3 in the money. Again, kind of a jockey's race here with a short field. Brother Reed, the 3, currently a strong favorite in early wagering. Twirling Derby, just 1 going a mile on the dirt down at Turf Paradise.
Yeah, and that was a big effort there. He was on the lead, and he did set a relatively slow pace, but it looked like he was going to get past, but he was able to battle back to Julian Paris, who, by the way, came here and ran a real big race last weekend despite breaking slow and racing wide sprinting. And so you look at that race, and he was 6-1, and prior to that, he hadn't really done too much, but when he was up on the lead, he showed a lot of gameness. He does not necessarily need to have the lead here. I'm kind of surprised when I'm looking at the dynamic morning line that he's third choice. I would have thought the fact that he just won a dirt route would make him favored here. So it's interesting where the money has gone. It's not going towards him, but for me, he's probably the horse to beat here.
Yeah, and he did win up on the lead, while the others in here, their normal style is off the pace or even deep closers. So Twirling Derby, one of two in here from trainer Jose Puentes. Carlo Lopez was up for that victory. Good ride, 6-1 down at Turf Paradise in late April. As John mentioned, Lopez kind of backed up the pace there, and Twirling Derby, third start off a lengthy layoff, got the victory. So he's coming off a win, the 4 by Twirling Candy. Outside, it's Hadley's Honor, number 5. And he's 12 of 18 in the top 3 in his Emerald Downs history. He's a winner going a mile at Phoenix this year. So certainly some, decent credentials against his foes.
And he did beat Twirling Derby when they met back on March 7th. However, as you had talked about, that was Twirling Derby's first start after a really long layoff there. So he's capable of running some big races. Now, last race, I didn't see any excuse at all. It was against slightly tougher company. That race before was a big effort, so maybe that race before just took a little bit too much out of him because he was coming back 10 days off a huge race. So he had a right maybe to set backwards, and he's a little fresher now because he's had a couple months off since that race. He shows a 46 flat gait workout, or 46 flat workout just a week ago here, so he's feeling pretty good. And as again, when we look at the dynamic morning line, we see he may end up favored here.
Okay, yeah, 6-5 that shows, and the dynamic morning line is the middle of those 3 sets of odds numbers. The top line is the current odds, the middle line, the projected odds, which again are very accurate, and the bottom number is the morning line, which is an approximation, and that's pretty much right on as well. Okay, field of 4 in the second race, coming out into the sunshine of the walking ring in the paddock at Emerald Downs. Again, the second race is the start of the 10-cent jackpot pick 6. It's Dollar Day at Emerald Downs, if you haven't heard, so it's some great specials for $1 at concession stands here at the track. Take advantage of that.
The horses are entering the track for the second race today. It's a distance of 1 mile. It's the neutral purse. Acclaiming event, purse of $9,500. It brings out 3-year-olds and upward. Reminder that number 1 Bert's Prospect has been scratched. Scratch number 1 Bert's Prospect. Post time in less than 5 minutes.
Second race at Emerald Downs, just minutes away, as the older runners were going to go a mile, 1 lap around. It's a 1 mile oval. Start right in front of the grandstand. And it's the start of the jackpot pick 6. Track announcer Tom Harris called that first race. Also, Tom, hey, a very astute selection on an 8-1 winner who won easily. Blue Locket, you scoped her out, the Alan Bozell runner. Nice pick, Tom.
Hey, that was a fun one, Joe. And, of course, hats off to the connections. They did all the heavy lifting. And what a nice race she ran today. She got a little bit of a slow start, a little awkward beginning, but she got gathered up nicely around the turn, and then she just took over. And, very impressive run by the first-time starter. It'll be fun to watch her as she moves along in her career. As we turn the page, second race is going to go 2 turns for the mile run here today. I'll go to the outside, number 5, Hadley's Honor. A good closing step to offer, very well versed around 2 turns. 3 wins and 18 starts right here at Emerald Downs. I think Sylvia Ronaville fits this horse nicely, or should fit this horse nicely. I'll put Hadley's Honor on top. 5-4-3, my selections in the second.
Okay, Hadley's Honor on top for Tom, and he has won multiple races here at this track. The other 3 making their Emerald Downs debuts, coming up all 3 of them from Turf Paradise. John.
You know, as you mentioned, Twirling Derby looked like he got away with a pretty slow pace last time, was able to win by a head, but I kind of see the same scenario happening again. He looks like he's controlling speed going into that first turn, and if that's the case, I think he'll run another game race. And I was impressed with his stretch drive last time. Even though he had that slow pace, he was able to hold off a horse that likes to win races, so I'll see if he can make it 2 straight.
Okay, yeah, long layoff from Twirling Derby from 2024 to 2026, but he's improved and improved all the way to victory on April 22nd, and that tactical speed certainly could help Carlo Lopez aboard for Jose Puentes. John and I on the 4, Tom's on the 5 here in the second.
And the horses have arrived at the starting gate. Post time for the second. And the field set to load for the second race at a mile. Band of 4 to go postward here. Run Baba Run is the 2. Jairo Moreno, the pilot. Brother Reed, the current odds-on choice, steps right in under Adrian Castellanos, and now comes Twirling Derby with Carlo Lopez. And to round out the field, number 5, Hadley's Honor and Silvio Amador. Starter Mark Gibson will send them on their way. And the runners away. The quartet break well with Hadley's Honor from the outside, joined by Twirling Derby at the rail. Those two match up in the immediate going as they push their way through the first turn. Hadley's Honor settled into stride, the leader a length and a half. Twirling Derby from the outside, poised in second, a length and a quarter to Run Baba Run. Brother Reed makes up the cast, but they're only 3 front to back as they prepare for the backstretch run. 24:31, no big hurry up the backstretch. And Hadley's Honor goes on with it, 3 parts of a length. Twirling Derby just to the outside. They're tightly grouped now. Here comes Run Baba Run with a shake of the reins. And Brother Reed's just 2 off the beat, a half mile away. They run through the first half in 48 2/100ths as they take it to the far turn. Hadley's Honor just in front. Along the outside, Twirling Derby's been there every step of the way as they run midway round the turn, stride for stride. Hadley's Honor now giving way to Twirling Derby. Back of the leaders comes Run Baba Run and Brother Reed. They reach the top of the stretch. Twirling Derby from the outside. Hadley's Honor battles back from the rail as they take it to the final furlong, and Twirling Derby opens up now, kicks clear by 2.5, make it 3, and Carlo Lopez and Twirling Derby come coasting home. The winner by 4 or 5 at the line. Hadley's Honor was second, Run Baba Run, then Brother Reed. They stopped the clock for the mile in a minute, 38 50/100ths. official order of finish appears on the totalizator board for the second race today. The winner, number 4, Twirling Derby. Second was number 5, Hadley's Honor. Finishing third, number 2, Run Baba Run. And fourth, number 3, Brother Reed. Running time for the mile, 1:38 and 50 seconds. The second race today was the neutral purse. Results are official. Into the Michelob Ultra winner's circle, it's Twirling Derby. He's owned and trained by Jose Puentes. Ridden to victory by jockey Carlo Lopez. A 9-year-old dark mare, brown gelding by Twirling Candy. From Delta Holiday, she was sired by Harlan's Holiday. Twirling Derby was bred in Kentucky by the Lynn Farm. Here's a look at the prices for the second race today. Winner number 4, Twirling Derby, $7.50 on the win ticket, $4.04 to place. There was no show wagering. Second was number 5, Hadley's Honor, $3.16 to place. Third came number 2, Run Baba Run, winning exacta $10.85. The early double worth $29.71. 50-cent trifecta, $21.12. The 10-cent super, $2.95. Race fans, at this time, we'd like to direct your attention to the Michelob Ultra Winners Circle for our Muckleshoot Casino Owner of the Week Award. This week's winner is Joe Budnich of Seattle. He continued his winning ways as Afshan rallied for a length and a quarter victory against a tough field of $10,000 starter allowance rivals. Last year, Budnich won with 4 starters last year, including 3 by Mashad Flats and 1 by Hadley's Honor. Hats off to Joe Budnich, our owner of the week. Also, we congratulate our Los Margs Cafe Groom of the Week Award winner. This week's honor goes to Alejandro Rosales of the Howie Gibson Barn. Our Los Margs Cafe Groom of the Week, Rosales has worked for several trainers, including Frank Lucarelli and Jorge Rosales, and scored a sharp win last week with the Gibson-trained clubhouse drama. Tip of the hat to Alejandro Rosales. Ladies and gentlemen, earlier today in the first race, there was a claim. Number 1, Run on Ohm, was claimed. The new owner, Carol Dronin. The new trainer, Shelley Crow. Number 1, Run on Ohm, was claimed from the first race today. Coming up the third race today, a distance of 6 furlongs, it's the Leaf Guard Purse. Number 1, Gentleman's Club has been scratched. Scratch number 1, Gentleman's Club. Number 3, 520 Sunset, add the ownership of Rider X. Rider X, additional owner of number 3, 520 Sunset. Post time for the third race at 2:57, less than 20 minutes to post. Once again, race fans, don't forget today's dollar day at the races. Following items available for just $1 each: hot dogs, fountain soft drinks, chips, small popcorn. You can get a 12-ounce hot Americano. Actually, not a bad day for that. Hot tea as well. And ice cream sandwich. Dollar day at the races. Those items just $1 each. Also, watch, wager, and win at Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort, located just minutes away from Emerald Downs. Caesars Sportsbook.
Coming up on race number 3 at Emerald Downs, and yes, we have a jackpot pick 6 that is underway. We also have rolling doubles, rolling pick 3s. We have pick 4s and pick 5s. The pick 5 for today starts right here. Races 3 through 7 does not include the Preakness, just Emerald Downs races. 50-cent pick 5 right here in the third with these older horse sprinters, non-winners of 3 races. So we are headed down to the paddock there to take a look. And John, we have a scratch. Gentleman's Club is out. Scratch the 1. So once again, we have 3 horses that have never raced at Emerald Downs. And again, coming in from, well, one of them coming in from Will Rogers Downs, but once again, just one horse that has familiarity here in the past, which isn't everything, of course.
Yeah, kind of a tricky handicapping race now. I think Gentleman's Club looked like a free space in the bingo card to everybody. I'm not saying he was going to win, but the truth is when you come from Santa Anita Open Company and you run against restricted horses, you're going to probably be a big favorite here. But he's not in, and like you mentioned, kind of an unknown, some unknowns here. One of them is raced at Emerald, but it's been a while, and we'll see how they do here.
Okay, there's a look at Alpine Sermon, one of the first-time Emerald Downs runners. Again, this is a non-winners of 3 condition. He did not win last year, but only raced 2 times. And he is a sprint horse. That's his history. Alpine Sermon from the barn of Mary Tate. Leading rider Kevin Krieger aboard. Generally stalking, closing style. And had a good second at Turf Paradise in his first start back, and then was unplaced 3 times.
Yeah, as you mentioned, he was off a long time from February of 25 to January of 26, and he just missed there and got bet pretty good the next race, but he probably bounced a little bit. The race after that, he was super wide around the racetrack. I mean, it's one of these deals when you're running 5 furlongs and you're 5 or 6 wide, you lose a lot of ground, even on a track where being outside was kind of good. So he has a couple excuses. Last race, I didn't really see anything other than he just was outrun, but I think this is a little easier field today, and the fact that he has a leading rider on it is always a positive.
Yep, Kevin Krieger aboard for Mary Tate on Alpine Sermon. We'll have the inside post. There's a look at him. Calbred 5-year-old. Number 3 is 520 Sunset. He's the one that's run at Emerald Downs. In fact, he had a pretty good year last year. He won on July 3rd in a sprint from off the pace, and he did win in September as well, going a mile. And he just didn't have a great run down in Phoenix over the winter and spring.
Yeah, you look at his last start, and his last start kind of the one I don't really know what to make of. Prior to that, he had run okay races against some better fields for that level. They were running some, fast times in there, and he acquitted himself well, but maybe the return to Emerald Downs is what he needs. He could be one of these horses that, Turf Paradise this winter and fall was not for him, and like you mentioned, he's won a couple races here, which is a big positive.
Yep, couple wins here, couple in the money runs last year as well for 520 Sunset, a son of Coast Guard, with Silvio Amador for Joe Toy. Joe Toy has been part of every Emerald Downs meeting. We have a pretty good list of trainers that were here in 1996 and are here again this year, our 30th anniversary season. Number 4 is Hot Goblin by Smiling Tiger, and that sire already with a winner at the current meeting, and Smiling Tiger was the leading sire of races 1 at Emerald Downs last year. So we're familiar with his runners, and this one does hold a victory in a sprint in 2026.
Yeah, he's one of the few here. He did break that non-winners of 2, and then moved on to 8,000 non-winners of 3, which was kind of a big jump up. And he went 32-1 there, broke slow and wasn't able to get contention, and didn't break at all in his last start. He's fresh now. This is a little easier company. He drew a little better post for his style there, and as you mentioned, that race when he was able to get his second lifetime win was a pretty good effort. And that race would be pretty formidable here. I'm looking at the dynamic morning nine. I didn't know who would be favored after the scratch. I thought it might be him, but he's acting now like he's going to be third choice. We'll have to see if that's the case.
Comes out there for Francisco Rodriguez, And Carlo Lopez going to ride Hot Goblin, who, as John mentioned, he ran some good sprints in non-winners at 2, and then he graduated up to the next level and wasn't super competitive there, but he's a sprinter. There's the 5 General Jimbo. Early speed from this invader from Will Rogers Downs.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people are looking at here after the scratch, and the dynamic morning line has him at 6-5 now, and for good reason. He went wire to wire, a couple back. Last 2, he wasn't able to get away from the inside and get the lead there, and he draws outside tactically, a lot of positives. And of course, Cruz and Rosales, know what to do with speed horses, so we'll see if they're the horse to catch.
All right, there he is, son of Tank Commander. He's an Oklahoma bred. He won 2 straight in February at Will Rogers Downs, and then those non-winners at 3 were a little tougher. And Rosales has Alex Cruz aboard. So a field of 4 to kick off the pick 5 wager, and the 4th race, of course, after this one, and then we'll take a short break and watch the Preakness on the big screen and the monitors throughout the building. Horses to the track for the 3rd.
That's Dan Harrington's call to post for the 3rd race today. Today's 3rd race, the Leaf Guard Purse, a distance of 6 furlongs. Claiming event, purse of $9,500 for 3-year-olds and upward. Reminder that number 1 Gentleman's Club has been scratched. Scratch number 1 Gentleman's Club. They'll be off and running in 5 minutes. 5 minutes to post. Ladies and gentlemen, looking ahead to the 5th race today, a rider change in the 5th race for number 3, Stan from Malibu. Now make his jockey Silvio Amador. Silvio Amador to ride number 3, Stan from Malibu, in the 5th race today.
third race at Emerald Downs, the Leaf Guard Purse. It's a 6 furlong sprint for older horses. And this kicks off our 50-cent Pick 5 wager. Pick 5 starts right here. Let's head up to Tom for his pick.
Well, Joe and John, hats off to you guys. You're on the board. You got the W on the board now with Twirling Derby. You ran a solid race today.
Yeah, he did take over and went on to victory. So that's what, 2 straight for him, counting Phoenix.
Yes, indeed. So good start to the season for Twirling Derby.
Yep.
We get set for this third race at 6 furlongs. Originally, I was on the one horse who's been scratched out of the Gentleman's Club, so that puts me to the 2, Alpine Sermon. And Kevin Krigger has the call here for Alpine Sermon. I think kind of lose a late threat in the race, has a little bit of that late step run in him. And Kevin Krigger handles the reins here for trainer Mary Tate. I'll go 2, 4, and 5 here in the third.
Okay, Alpine Sermon, again, 3 of the 4 making an Emerald Downs debut this afternoon. Number 3, 520 Sunset is the lone competitor here that has raced at this track and 2 wins last year. How do you see this, John?
Yeah, after the scratch, I ended up on number 5, General Jimbo. You can hopefully ignore his last 2 starts. He was inside, he had to press the pace and was able to get the lead. Now he moves outside and he finds what appears to be a paceless race. So I would think he'd have, a couple length lead going into the turn there, and if that's the case, they might not catch him.
I saw it the same way. General Jimbo running against stalkers and closers in here. He did win 2 straight up on the front end at Will Rogers Downs. So found a good spot for his Emerald Downs debut. George Rosales, Alex Cruz. John and I on the 5. Tom's on the 2 here in the third.
And the horses have reached the starting gate. Post time for the third. Third race at 6 furlongs, the Leaf Guard Purse. Alpine Sermon, first one to go up. .520 Sunset to follow. Hot Goblin will be the third of 4 runners right into the gate. Last last one, General Jimbo, the outside post, under Alex Cruz. All set. And runners away. They broke together on the outside. General Jimbo and Hot Goblin are quick off the mark, along with Alpine Sermon along the inside. 5:20 Sunset tags the field, but only 2.5 away. General Jimbo tugs away at the bit, goes to the front by a length and a half. Hot Goblin from the outside, 5:20 Sunset from between horses. Alpine Sermon is tucked away at the rail as they progress for the far turn. First quarter, 22:45, a swift opening fraction, and General Jimbo continues to lead the way. 5:20 Sunset on the inside into second by a half. Hot Goblin next on the outside, and Alpine Sermon a quarter mile away. General Jimbo, top of the stretch, the leader. 5:20 Sunset trying to close in from the outside. Down to these two and a furlong away. General Jimbo, 5:20 Sunset on the attack. Stride for stride. On the outside, 5:20 Sunset. General Jimbo, 5:20 Sunset, the winner. General Jimbo is second to Hot Goblin and Alpine Sermon. They stop the clock in 1:10 and 85 100ths. Unofficial order of finish appears on the totalizator board for the third race today. First, it was number 3, 5:20 Sunset. Second came number 5, General Jimbo. Third was number 4, Hot Goblin. And fourth, number 2, Alpine Sermon. Running time on the board, 1:10 and 85 100ths. The third race today was the Leaf Guard Purse. Results official. The official winner, number 3, 5:20 Sunset. into the Michelob Ultra Winner's Circle, 520 Sunset. Owned by Rage, number 2939 and Rider X, or the Terra Firma Farm. The winning trainer is Joe Toy. The winning rider, Silvio Amador. A 5-year-old chestnut gelding by Coast Guard from Crafty Diva. She was sired by Crafty Prospector. Bred here in Washington by Gene Welch. And a look at the prices for the third race winner, number 3, 520 Sunset, 420 and 262 on the win in place. There was no show wagering. Number 5, General Jimbo, $3.22 to place. Third came number 4, Hot Goblin. Winning exacta $6.08. The rolling double, $14.73. 50-cent trifecta, $4.49. 10-cent super, $1.11. Winning pick 3, the early pick 3, $78.31. Coming up in the fourth race today, the Dory Monson purse at 5 1/2 furlongs. Ownership note for number 2, Going South. The exclusive owner should be listed as Gate to Wire LLC. Also for number 3, Horizon Wildcat, the owner should be listed as Sue Gilmore, the trainer Jim Gilmore. Post time for the fourth race at 3:29, 22 minutes until post time. And race fans, with the incoming rain arriving here at Emerald Downs, a reminder, you're welcome to join us on floor 5, climate controlled, free grandstand and box seating available. All the amenities on floor 5. Certainly join us on floor 5. You can enjoy the Preakness Stakes and all the live race action. Quick Picks Cafe is located on floor 5. Also, the full-service bar is there. Floor 5 with free seating if you want to escape the rain. Fans, be sure to stay up to date on everything going on here at the track. Visit our website at emeralddowns.com. Also on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and X. And don't forget, if you'd like a souvenir from your day at the races, visit the gift shop located on the track level right across from customer service. We have a large assortment of Gasenko chocolates and fudge, The arcade is on track level as well, with plenty of fun new games for kids of all ages. You'll find it on the track level.
And a tradition that we're very proud to carry on here at Emerald Downs. On Preakness Saturday, the last several years, the Dory Monson purse, and that is coming up, race number 4. Dory Monson, of course, passed away a few years ago, but he was a great friend of racing and, of course, a top media person in Seattle. Let's remember Dory Monson. Yeah, our 4th straight year with the Dory Monson purse on Preakness Saturday. As you could see, quite a full life. And for many years, Matt Johnson worked with Dory very closely. Seahawk pregame and postgame shows mostly. And we saw some memories of that on the screen there, Matt.
Just great memories, Joe. That's what first, thank you to you and Emerald Downs for putting this together for us to think about Dory and to bring us together as friends. He loved horse racing. He loved us. He loved his family, Suzanne, his daughters. They're all here today. And it's just a celebration of a fun person, right? Someone we all loved, and it's great for us to come together and think about him today outside the other 364 days.
Happy to do it, you bet. And yeah, you kind of became a horse racing fan. We did the Win Play show on KJR, and you picked up a few things, and it become excellent fan. Dory goes way back to the early 80s as a horse racing fan.
Dory came up with his own handicapping tool at Long Acres, and he did very well. I think Long Acres was happy that they they shut down that way because no, Dory was as astute of a horse player as I had ever met. We went back to Monmouth and watched Curlin come around that turn at the Breeders' Cup, and that was a thrill. My father and I and Dory went and made the trip back there, but we would talk most weekends about horse racing. If there was a pick six, that he would call me and hey, let's take it down. And it's the track just reminds me of Dory so much, and how much fun we had at Emerald Downs, at Turf Paradise, at Monmouth, so many places, and it's just a great gathering for us, friends and family, to be at Emerald Downs remembering him.
As you mentioned, his widow Suzanne is here, and I know it was a bucket list item for him to go to the Kentucky Derby, and he fulfilled that a few years back too.
Not only that, but he wanted to go to both Belmont Park and Churchill when there was nobody there. And Suzanne was an incredible a partner in that she stood. I know this story that I think it was Belmont Park. Maybe there's 1,500 people there on a Wednesday, and he was like, let's go. Can we go? And there was nobody there. He loved that authentic heritage of horse racing, right? Those huge stadiums where there was no one there, but small crowds and real horse players. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and speaking of Suzanne, what a true partner in life. She's so involved in her family, and I'm so blessed to call her a good friend.
That is great. The Dory Monson Purse coming up, race 4, and West Coast Bull, one of the 5 older horses in the Dory Monson Purse. Steve Bullock, runner, and West Coast Bull is one here at ages 2 and 3. Going south, well, he was stakes place last year as a 3-year-old sprinter behind See That Tiger. Also won fresh, one off the bench in 2025. I'm going to get a pick from Matt Johnson here because I know he's looked at the Dory Monson Purse. Horizon Wildcat, the 3, a newcomer to this track. He's won at Los Alamitos and Del Mar. So there's some nice credentials for Horizon Wildcat with Blake Nunnally. Alex Cruz to get aboard Bluegrass Lent from Patty Leaney. And Bluegrass Lent competed well at Hastings last year. He comes back in 2 weeks. And Jimmy B on the outside for Victor Trujillo. Frank Alvarado aboard. Who do you like, Matt?
I've been going against the favorites.
Okay.
The first 3 races, we're not going to do that. We're going to go as a group on the 2, going south. Stakes place, as you said it, Blaine Wright, you can't go wrong there, and the 2 is where we're going to get happy.
Okay, going south, the pick for the Dory Monson Purse as we go to the track for race 4.
And the horses are on the track for the 4th race today. The 4th race, the Dory Monson Purse. It's a distance of 5 1/2 furlongs, a claiming event. Purse of $16,500 for 3-year-olds and upward. Post time in 5 minutes.
Yep, pick 4 starts right here in the Dory Monson purse, races 4 through 7, 50-cent pick 4 wagering. And this is a sprint for 4-year-olds and upward, and mostly 4-year-olds in here. Bluegrass Lent is a 5-year-old. So we'll kick off the pick 4 with some speedy sprinters going 5.5 furlongs. Let's head up to Tom.
Joe, in this one, I'm looking to the inside with West Coast Bull. West Coast Bull certainly does have the speed to offer. Has that inside well as a plus, and good workouts to the credit. Effective front running style that could fit the distance here. Carlo Lopez rides here for trainer Steve Bullock. I go 1, 2, 3 here in the fourth.
1, 2, 3, West Coast Bull. Carlo Lopez, of course, won for Steve Bullock just last weekend. And let's go to John Lindley.
Yeah, it's a small field, but it's super competitive. But when I opened the form and saw Going South lost to See the Tiger last year and ran a big second in the Auburn Handicap, even though he kind of tailed off after that, and prior to that, you know, he had just broken his maiden in a non-winner too. But that race sticks out to me. I give him a slight call on what I thought was a pretty evenly matched field.
Yeah, he did run second in the Auburn to See that Tiger, who was sprinter of the meeting as a 3-year-old last year, multiple stakes winner, and, you know, running fresh. Yeah, Going South won fresh last year. Just a real solid sprinter, and lots of exacta finishes and 2 wins here last year. I'm with you. I'm going Going South. John and I on the 2. Tom's on the 1 here in the 4th.
And the horses have reached the starting gate. Post time for the 4th race, the Dory Monson purse at 5.5 furlongs. West Coast Bull settled away. In goes Going South.